Welcome back to another crappy podcast, 87th best on iTunes, and we have the guest everyone's been asking. Stop asking now. Timothy Hansen, you know him. How do you not know this fucking dude?
Hi, how are you?
He's here. He's queer. Get used to it. It's just the girls today. Everyone else mysteriously died. Apparently,
Everyone else died. COVID.
Tragic
God bless.
death.
God bless.
I guess it's just us three. Can we get? I know you've been wanting to talk about it. Vegas. Jump right into it. Fuck it.
Hey! I guess since all three of us went on the Vegas trip, we're not excluding anybody else out of the conversation by talking about it.
That's exactly
like
it.
Killer, for example.
He's not gonna feel bad because he's not here.
Yeah, he doesn't have to sit through our fucking boring conversation that he has no emotional attachment to.
Yep. I always felt bad because it's like, oh, I want to talk about this, but at the same time, this excludes like one or two people from the call.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of waiting for like Tim to show
Opportunistic.
up so we could talk about Vegas because I was like, ew, the boys.
And for the record, so I need to clarify two things before we get into this. Number one, the reason why my background is fucking blackness is because I have a newborn and I have Lisa sleeping behind me right now. So I gotta make with it's 10 p.m. right now, and I'm a committed father, so I got responsibilities, guys. So I'm in a fucking dark room right now. The lights are at 25%, 30% instead of 100%. So that's number one.
I'm feeling a 31%.
Number two, I had just watched Turbo's podcast with you guys just before this, so that was kind of like my warm up to this. I wanted to warm up to this conversation with your conversation with Turbo because I feel like all of us sort of connected on that trip. So
that was a spiritual
That is my
bonding.
only preface. That was my only preface, and with that, take it away.
The one thing that Turbo told me that I don't think I remembered, or you might have told me, but I forgot. Your trip on the way back got canceled too, didn't it? Like when you were at the airport?
Yeah, it was some shit, dude. Okay, so mistake number one. Okay, I'm not gonna blame Jose, but Jose, he just kind of like he assigned flights to different people with different companies. So I had gotten, unfortunately, Spirit Airlines. Now Spirit Airlines is I could be mistaken, probably a newer fucking company, and they suck dick.
No idea.
And so so what they ended up doing was he made the flight, and so I had a scheduled flight to Las Vegas from Boston, where I am, and that got canceled. But what ended up happening was they sent me an email, a junk email that I never ended up seeing, exclaiming to me that it got canceled months prior to this. So I ended up walking into the situation thinking that I had a fucking flight, and I did not. My flight did not exist. It got canceled, and they ended up giving me credit as a fucking result of this. And what's ironic about that is they gave me shitty service, so I'm never going to go back to them. So I'm never going to be able to use this credit for my further advances. So the credit is fucking useless to me. So there's no credit. I don't need it. So that was a waste of a lot of money. I had to pay $1,300 to get a flight back home from Las Vegas. I didn't get a connecting flight from. I had to go from Las Vegas to. Turbo was talking about the story last time on the last podcast. So he was talking about how I had to go from Las Vegas to Cincinnati. I got there at super early in the morning. Like I could have been like 2 or 3 in the morning. I swear to God. And then I got a flight from there to Boston. And that costed me $1,300 fucking dollars to do that because you know how these companies are. If you want a flight right away, they're gonna charge you up the ass because they can. So I ended up paying way more than I should have to get a flight home. So that was shitty.
Okay. That was the one thing I think I did one trip where I had a layover and I was in Chicago and I got stuck there for 9 hours. After that, I said, I'm never doing a layover ever again. I will refuse to fly if I have to do a layover.
That was the PAX trip, right?
Stuck in Chicago for 9 hours.
That is shitty. Chicago of all places too. Like I would rather be stuck in. I was stuck in Orlando for a couple hours, and that place sucked. It was just pouring. There was a fucking hurricane going on there the second I was there. It's like God telling me that I shouldn't have been there or something.
But you got to Vegas, and we all had some fun.
Orlando sucked. I got to Vegas after hours. I should have been in Vegas
man.
way earlier than I was.
You should have been there way before
Vegas,
me.
I was in Vegas at 11 p.m. It must have been like close to midnight. I got to Vegas. And like you, I think, were out with whoever the fuck.
No.
I don't know what was
Me
going on.
and this retard were in the casino getting drunk.
Well, I'll get to that in just a second, where the fuck we were, because that was so stupid, but go ahead.
I showed up at like between 11 and 12, and I got to the airport, and I got a taxi. I lost my AirPods somewhere in between here, ripped my AirPods, or Lisa's AirPods, so they're hers, and I brought them with me on my trip, and I fucking lost them, and I blew it.
You
I had to
lose
order
them
new
right when you
ones.
get there too.
I fucking lost them immediately. I don't know how that shit happened. And so I got to the Las Vegas airport, and I just wanted to get out of there as soon as possible, but it was so late that Uber rides were kind of hard to get by. There was a lot of people, and so I eventually got out of there after like 45 minutes of waiting. And then I got a ride to the hotel. I went up there. I was met with Turbo, and then you had come back like hours after that, I think. I think Turbo and I talked for like a half hour. We got to know each other in person, that sort of thing. And then after that, we kind of like just passed out. And you had fucking come back to the room.
So
I don't know when, but like just way later.
We were in the hotel the entire time, but
waiting
I didn't have
on you.
I didn't have fucking service.
I heard
so I was
that.
like, man, he's never texted me, and then
I was
because I
on
didn't
a
fucking
flight.
service.
I was in airplane mode, no fucking service. That's why I did not see anything you were sending to me. So
it was all right. So Justin was like, all right. So Tim just texted me. He asked if I will go ahead and get him a burger, because we ended like, what was it, Shake Shack or something?
Something stupid like that. Yeah.
He was like, yeah, Tim asked me to go ahead and grab him a burger, so I'm gonna do that, and then we'll head back to the hotel and we'll just wait for Tim to get there. I was like, all right, yeah, cool. So we get down there, we find the little Uber and Lyft drop off area, and we're sitting there waiting. It started off with like a group of like 3 or 4 of us, and then everyone dropped off, and it's just me and Justin, and we stood there till like 2:30 in the fucking morning.
No, it wasn't that late. Maybe like midnight, somewhere around there.
Well, no,
because the bars closed at like.
Yeah.
Midnight.
I remember getting a text from you saying that like, fuck, we waited for you so long, basically, and you never showed.
Because I didn't have fucking service.
Because my flight got fucking
I wasn't paying
delayed.
attention.
My flight in Orlando, my connecting flight from Orlando to Vegas, got delayed an hour and a half because of the weather conditions. So that's why I was so much later than I should have. I should have never gotten that layover in the first place. I had a direct flight from Vegas to Boston. That ended up not fucking existing because Spirit is dog shit, and they're like, "Here, just take credit because you can fly with us in the future.
We're gonna scam
fly
you
with you in the future. You are shitty, and I'm not gonna be a returning fucking customer to you after you give me dog shit service. So no, I'm not flying Spirit again. And guess what? You can take your credit and shove it up your ass. And I'm gonna fly Delta from now on. I had to fly $1,300 from fucking Delta, and I had to get home from again. I had to go to Cincinnati and then back to Boston, and that flight was just so exhausting. It's just like I don't know if you guys noticed this, but on that trip, I was on edge because I was anxious because my flights didn't exist.
You didn't know if you were getting home.
On my way there, I was just getting off of like a super anxious, super stressful fucking experience where I'm like, fuck, my flight finally is just like, I finally got here. Finally. After all of this bullshit. And then on my way home, I'm like, fuck, I gotta repeat the whole thing over again. It was just, I just felt so fucking stressed out that entire day. That entire day, I was so excited. I was like, I'm gonna get on a flight, go straight to Vegas, hang out with my buddies. I'm gonna be there at like 5 p.m. I was there at like 11. It was just
you were supposed
so
to get there
ridiculous.
way before me, and you ended up getting there way after me.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
I wish I could have stayed that extra day.
I would say the first day and a half, your shoulders were like up to here because you were just like so stressed.
I was yeah, exactly, dude. And not to mention, Justin and I had a whole different like layer of responsibility heading into the next day because we had that ZWC event where like little kids would be coming up to us, asking to like talk and for whatever they wanted.
Drunk.
Yeah, and we just had a whole day in front of us where like we had all these like responsibilities to attend to, and the night before I had gotten very little sleep. It just wasn't.
Sorry, I kept touching your feet. Sorry,
Smooth
that's my
process. Oh yeah, you were at the fucking
You would put your feet over and I'd take them like.
Sorry, I've been drinking a little bit, so I've been burping. Okay, so you were at the little fucking dog bed at the end of my bed. So here's the
That shit was so funny.
here's the fucking bed setup. Carson can attest to this. Okay, so it's Turbo's bed. He's got like I want to say a full size bed. It's either that or a queen. So he's got his own bed. I've got my own bed parallel to that. And then you just got the fucking bed
little
that
dog
the
bed.
goddamn poor employees shuffled up the elevator
That
for
fucking
you.
poor immigrant maid had to bring it up.
There's little short. It's like the little short bus at the end of the fucking bed. It's just parked up
Fucking-
there, and you had to sit on there like a little goddamn retriever.
I felt so because like I
I
knew I
felt
wasn't
bad
gonna
for
give you that
dude.
bed.
I'm
No,
sorry
I was
that
like,
you had to go through that.
I was like, Tim's so much taller than me. He's not gonna be comfortable in this. Turbo went through so much shit last night. Like I could sleep anywhere. Like that's a superpower
That's
I
true.
have.
I
fall
forgot Turbo.
asleep.
Turbo went through a lot of shit too in terms of
Oh, he
flights
went
and
through hell.
whatnot. I totally forgot about
I
that.
felt bad for you guys. I was like, dude, I'll take that bed. I don't fucking care. I'll sleep on the ground. Like
Not fly
I can fall
Spirit.
asleep anywhere.
Anyone fucking watching this podcast, do not fly Spirit. You will regret it for the rest of your life. It was a terrible experience. It was a .01 experience out of 10 for me. Just gonna leave it at that.
I would have been so.
I
pissed.
think the funniest part about the whole cot situation was we had to stand in the lobby for like an hour or something while Matt and I think Jose went up to the front desk and was trying to explain to them how they needed a third bed.
I don't know
And
why they did. I would have been fine, like sleeping in the bed. Like I don't give a shit.
Would
I'm
you
pretty
have slept
sure
on the floor, or would you try to make something of like?
I would have been
the
in your
chair?
bed. I would have been in your bed. Like
He-
that's
Okay.
That's not
He
how-
slept
Okay.
on the floor at
I would have
PAX.
been cool with that. For the record. For the
Yeah,
record.
like
When,
I'm like I'm pretty comfortable sleeping in one of your guys' beds or wherever. I don't give a fuck.
But the times we went to sleep varied greatly, like
Oh,
from night to night. Like some nights were just very different from others. So like there was never a consistent like pattern of who went to bed when. So it was just kind of like whatever.
Every
the
time
fuck
I would come
happened.
into the room, one of you two would be asleep.
Yeah, I was passed out. I mean, how many nights were we even there, dude? Was it like 3 nights?
2 or 3. You guys there for 3. I think I was,
there
only
for
for
3
2.
nights at least. Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
Not to
Friday
mention,
night, Saturday
not to
night.
mention,
I wasn't there
folks,
Sunday night.
the service in our fucking hotel room, in our one particular hotel room, was
Oh my god.
less than acceptable. It was
Oh.
dog water, dude. We could not text or call people. We couldn't load anything. The only thing we had going for us was a Nintendo Switch that I brought, which does not require internet to have a fun time with. You can just hook it up and kind of like play whatever. We had
I
that
mean-
Switch, and that was kind of all we had in our hotel room because we were at the end of the hallway, which I think had the least reception, if I'm not mistaken. So other people on our fucking floor had reception, but not us.
None.
So we had to deal with what we had, and that was a really damning experience. I'm not gonna lie. That hotel, like being in the hotel room, felt like
Fucking
being in a
hotel.
fucking prison. Am I wrong? Like, am I
No,
wrong?
it was dog shit. Like you couldn't do anything.
We
I
were
think
so
you're
trapped.
both forgetting that the TVs came with a dedicated porn channel. So I mean, there's plenty to do. You were just
Well, we
being
couldn't
picky.
find it again. Turbo found it once, and he never could find it again.
Yeah.
That's-
I
that's
turned
fucked
on
up.
the TV, and that was the first thing that popped up. It was like $7 for like MILF Anal Busters 4. I'm like, okay, like
That's
shit.
my shit.
But I was like, no, this hotel room's on my credit card. I'm not fucking doing that.
So Ark was with you, right?
So I had an interesting situation. Ark was with me
Yes, you did.
the first day, no, and the second day, and then the third night I had Tavi in there. Or
Suspenders.
suspenders.
Suspenders,
and-
dude. Oh my god.
So the first night, I slept like a baby. I laid down, I listened to some music, I fell asleep, and nice and easy. I did wake up at like 4 a.m. and Ark it's like someone put him in a dryer, like an invisible dryer, because the dude's just like flipping on his bed while he's sleeping, like constantly. I was like,
Jesus.
holy fuck. But I was like, all right, whatever. Like, who am I to judge? Like, this guy had to listen to my music while I fell asleep, so I don't give a shit. The second night, though, and that was the night where me and Justin ended up walking all the way to Caesars and back, and we were inebriated. And so got back to the room. I was fucking dead. Like, I laid down and I was passing out. And we had like left everyone else, and I told Ark and Tavi, like, hey, like, you guys know where the room is. I'll see y'all when y'all get there. Tavi never came back. Tavi stayed out all fucking night, hopping from like
Is
casino
a
to casino.
fucking. He's a wild animal, dude. That guy
Tavi
is
was
one of the.
Well,
he is one of the least hinged
this-
people I've ever fucking met.
This guy stayed up for like
I
36
love the guy.
straight hours.
I love him, but
He stayed up for like 36 straight hours and was like drinking almost nonstop. And then at one point we lost him and I texted him. I was like, "Where are you guys?" And he sends me a picture of him with a gun. I was like, "What the fuck?"
At what
Well,
time
yeah,
of the day?
but
At what time of the day did he have this fucking gun?
At like 10 a.m. They
10
ended up
a.m.
going to a firing range.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
I
was like,
saw
"What the
that.
fuck?"
I did see that. I saw
But
that on his Instagram. He had posted that.
it was
Oh,
like
good lord.
completely out of nowhere. I was not expecting that to happen. Now,
tropical storm outside.
I've mentioned the story a couple times. I'm not going to go into super big detail, of course, but I think the best part of everything was when I woke up the next morning of the second day. And again,
This is
I
great.
passed out. I was out dead. I wake up and the first thing I fucking noticed, like, I fell asleep just straight briefs, man, like nothing else, right? Because I'm like, all right, whatever. It's like it's just me and Ark will be in here. I wake up. There's like 7 fucking dudes in this room, right? Like all the other fucking mods showed
Excuse
up.
me.
Yeah, all the other mods and Justin.
Room trashed.
Everyone
fucking
is in there.
trashed.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Everyone's like throwing all their shit into my room while I'm asleep. And Ark is sitting there just telling the story. I'm not tuned in yet. I'm still waking up, and I'm like, there's like all these fucking people in here, and like I recognize them, but I'm still like, still booting up here. We
Mhm.
still got the Windows logo and the dots, so we weren't there yet. And
yeah.
I finally like tune into the conversation, and I see Ark look down and goes, "Oh, it's still on my cock." And at that point, it's like clicked, signed in. What the fuck did you just say? And he was like, "The condom's still on my cock." I was like, "You went and fucked a hooker?" And he goes, "Yeah, right here." I was like, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Yeah, like right here in this bed." I was like,
Oh boy.
He
Oh,
fucked
boy.
a Chinese hooker 2
You
feet
know
away
what?
from you.
You know what? That story.
"Ugh."
I was never gonna divulge that fucking story, dude. But that story is just
We
to this
mentioned it.
day. Maybe I'm just like an
Amazing.
inexperienced human being. Maybe I haven't been through enough. But that motherfucker, what he did in that context, just seems wild to me.
That's
Like,
so funny.
I do
Total
not
wild
understand it.
Here's
be
my
frank.
stance on it. Here's my stance on it. I'm not even mad.
No,
I
that's funny.
should be mad, but
No.
it is such a fun and crazy story. It, technically no laws were broken. Technically, due to technicalities, no laws were broken in Vegas. We all had a good time. We were all safe at the end of the day. No one's
Yeah.
dead. No one went missing. And so looking back at it, I think it is an amazing and hilarious story.
It is.
I mean, I can't really blame the guy either because, that's what he wanted to do, and who am I to fucking
Fuck
judge
it,
him?
yeah. When
So,
in Vegas, do Vegas, man. In my situation, I'm not 21 years old, so I had a very limited experience.
Yeah.
I had a very dictated experience, so mine
Speaking of
was
you
not
being
very
21.
reflective of the norm. But I would say that when in Vegas, do fucking Vegas, especially if you're a single fucking dude.
Have
Go
fun,
balls
yeah.
to the wall, dude. Like, I'm not in that situation, but by all
Fucking-
means.
Yeah. It's like, I personally, I cannot see myself ever doing that. However,
No.
at the same time, who am I to judge, right?
Exactly. Right. Like people are into different shit, I guess. And that's not like immoral, I wouldn't say. Like it's just
No, I mean,
it's not like frown it's not like smiled upon, but
It's the world's
That's what
oldest
it is.
profession.
I
Yeah.
will say this about the whole 21 comment. My most memorable time with you and Turbo is when you, me, and Turbo were walking down the strip and we went by that dispensary, and
Oh boy.
he was like, "Are your buddies going in there with you?" I was like, "No, they're not 21." Like I was straight up. He was like, "No, they're not 21." He says, "Tell them to get up here anyways." I was like, "Real
What a
shit?"
cool guy.
He was like, "Yeah, just tell them
Yeah.
to get up here." He said, "Show me your IDs." And you and Turbo both were like, "No, we can't." And he's like, "Just show me your IDs." So y'all both kind of looked at each other, and I looked at y'all. I was like, like,
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
So
That man was trying to make some
My
business.
perspective of that was like pretty similar, but a little bit different. To me, dude, that security guard, like in Turbo and I's minds, were like, are they trying to like check us right now? Like, are we in actual fucking trouble right now for nothing, like at all? Just because someone else was trying to get in with our group. But no, dude, that guy was super fucking nice. Just let us right on in. Was super pleasant about it. I imagine that's more of a business thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'd imagine like the business there, they're probably like, dude. They probably tell the security guard, they're like, dude, if there's a guy that's 20 years old and he's a couple months away trying to get in, just let him in for business sake, probably.
If
Well,
they
I
look
mean-
21, let him in.
they're probably like, listen, if the guy doesn't look like he's still in high school, just let them in.
Yeah, they're
It's like-
overcharging anyway, so they're gonna make
Yeah.
a profit.
Yeah.
That was
So
expensive.
just let these fucking guys in, and you're gonna make your money.
Dude, one of
Yeah.
my favorite moments of that trip was when we were hypothetically smoking, in front of the hotel, and Carson was trying to get in those one girl's pants.
Okay, guys, listen.
Nah.
Okay, subscribers of mine and just listen. Okay, viewers. Hypothetically, in a non-existent world where none of this is real, we may or may not have smoking the devil's lettuce. Okay,
In Minecraft.
it's not real. It didn't actually
I did-
happen at all in the real world, but like it's a hypothetical world where it happened.
Pure
okay?
hypothetical.
With that out of the way, we can continue our conversation.
Yes. That was probably one of my favorite. Like, we were just chilling, and it was just like a nice night. It was great.
I still say my favorite moment, besides the pool, because the pool was, I felt so fucking relaxed when we were out at the pool, dude.
And
was
Noah J
so
pulled
relaxed.
up and we were all buzzed and we were all talking. That was so
Dude,
fun.
And then
when
I'm not
Noah
gonna
pulled
blow up
up-
Noah's spot or anything, but like Noah, dude, shout out to you. That was a fun combo. I don't know if you remember it, but we were all buzzed and we were all having a fun time. And it wasn't just him. There were a bunch of guys out there. I didn't talk to all of them, but that was an awesome fucking moment.
Yeah, we just
I
didn't
was
really
laughing
want to
so
play.
hard.
What games were they playing?
Oh, dude, it's
What
never
the fuck's
have
that?
I ever.
Yeah, no, I'm a little too old for that.
Yeah, I'm not
Thank you, I'll
fucking
pass.
7 years old. Thank you, but
Oh,
that was a fun day
I was laughing
nonetheless.
super hard.
Was.
I'm not gonna say his name, but that one guy who just like pushed himself into the
Yeah. I know who you're talking
Like,
about.
I was laughing so hard, especially because when I went to go get drinks, he pushed himself into like our group, and like I looked back, and all of a sudden he's standing there, and I was like,
To be fair,
okay.
though,
And
I collabed with him before, so
yeah,
he's
But it's
Tim
like-
Hansen certified.
Tim Hansen certified. But like, it was such like an awkward thing. Like, I don't know the guy at all, so it was like, all right, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Because like when Noah like came over, he was like, hey, like, what's up? You know, like he basically like introduced himself. He didn't just show up and just sit there mid
Yeah, for sure. I was afraid of doing that to him. I didn't want to roll up to a guy like Noah and just like interject myself into a conversation that I do not belong in. I would rather.
Carson tried to get me to
him-
do that.
I was
Carson
gonna
like,
say
"Sit there
like
and talk to him." Like, no, half
it
these
kinda
guys
just
fucking
go
hate
fucking-
me.
it kind of has to feel right. Like you don't want it to feel awkward. So I'm glad that he had rolled up to us because he had never really spoken to us IRL before, and I think that's why he did approach us. But I did not. I had zero interest in like kind of fucking throwing myself into their conversation and be
Yeah,
like,
fuck that.
"Hi,
Half
I'm
them
from
probably
YouTube.
hate me anyway. I was like,
I'm a
Carson was like,
YouTuber."
yeah, go up there and try to
No,
talk. I was like, no, fuck off.
To be fair, the context on that was you were like, you literally word for word were like, man, I'm such a black fucking sheep here. And I was like, well, fucking change it. Like, go up there. Like,
Half them
just
probably
go
don't
chill.
fucking like me.
You
Fuck
are
you're
who
like,
that.
you
"No,
are,
fuck
though.
that."
Don't change who you are. You are who you are. And you know
Yeah.
what?
I'm cute.
You and I are not exactly. We're not built the same as everyone else in this community. Let's be
Nah,
honest.
we're the dynamic duo.
Team War Crimes is what it was.
Batman
fucking-
and Robin.
And you know what? For this podcast, we're the fucking Three Musketeers.
Oh, fucking God.
Sorry, I'm buzzed. I'm just gonna be
You're good.
cringe.
Okay, you need more
So-
drinky.
You know, I was watching that Turbo
you just-
podcast before this, and you know what? You know what? You made an accusation, Justin. You had called me innocent. You had called me innocent. And Lisa and I were both watching this podcast. And she
Well, to be
goes-
fair, to
she
your
goes,
viewers,
"He
you are
called
very
innocent." I was like,
To-
dude, we gotta hang out. We gotta actually hang out one time in real life. We gotta actually hang out.
To be fair, if
Because
people don't
with
know
no-
you, you are.
Yes,
But I know you, I know
absolutely,
you're not. But if
absolutely.
people don't know you,
That's factual. That's absolutely true. But I mean, see, I feel like
because
a
I could
level-
tell you were like when you were hanging out with me and the boys, you were very different. But when
Yeah,
you were around
yeah,
some other
yeah.
people, I could tell you were like,
that's what comes with being a person that has, you know, clout, quote unquote. Somebody that has fucking some. I have people watching me. I don't want to be a terrible responsibility like you, and just
it's fair.
destroy the youth's minds. But I'm somebody who likes to keep it on the low. And dude, our time in Vegas, like I don't want to fill the whole fucking podcast up with our time in Vegas, but it was seriously one of the best experiences of my entire life.
Yeah, one of the best weekends I've ever had.
Just
to
like-
be honest.
It was only like 3 days, maybe even less than that, but it was phenomenal. It was just like it was such a clarifying experience for me. Like I feel like I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about you guys. I learned a lot about everybody on that trip. And I feel like I matured a lot. I feel like because when I was out there, I'm not even gonna lie, I felt so alone because I'm so used to being with Lisa and my kids and
Dude, okay, I'm making sure I'm not the only one that felt that because I got a little homesick the first night. I was like, "There's no
Yeah.
Heather here."
I was worried that might show. I was like, fuck, I hope these guys don't notice. I'm not like I don't want to be like a bummer and be all like fucking up in my feelings this entire trip while like I'm thinking about everything that's behind right now and I was stressed out because of the flight and I was like I couldn't even eat because of how anxious I was a lot of the time. You guys can attest to that. I was like
Man.
struggling to like I was just so anxious. I was like, fuck, I don't want to be a mess in front of these guys right now because there's just a lot of like shit going on behind the scenes. So I was like trying to be I was trying to be cool, but and there's a lot of shit in my personal life too that I don't like to talk about too much, but you know, there's a lot of like just fucked up shit going on right now. So I'm trying to like I was trying to like internalize that for that trip and I don't know where the fuck I'm headed with this, but yeah, I was just trying to like
Have a good time.
not be an anxious mess because I kind
You
of
did
was on
good.
the inside.
I would say
Also,
that
meeting new
also
people
added
is
to it.
stressful, like just in general.
Yeah,
like,
we
for
had
the
never
first time.
met. Like none of us had met. Well, me and Carson had, but
Yeah.
like me, you, and Turbo, we've never met in person. But before that,
And we can believe we know each other super well, which we do, but until you meet somebody face to face, you
just
never
never
100% know somebody. You can like 95% know somebody over Discord like this, but until you like you don't know how somebody's going to act in front of you until you're actually physically in front of them. And that's very telling. I think that's way more than telling than how you communicate with somebody on the internet, for
Mhm.
example.
Well, and I would say, because I mean, like Justin said, me and him had met before this. You know, this wasn't our first time actually seeing each other. And I could say that, you know, meeting you and Turbo felt the same way it did when I met Justin, where it was like, oh, hey, like, what's up? And it was just like an instant click. It was like, yeah, no, I'm chill with these guys. I like these guys. And I felt like that almost the
Got that.
entire trip, to where it was just like, nah, like I'm just hanging out with my friends here. It's like I wouldn't be weird. Like if I need to get a hold of you or something, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I don't want to like yell Tim real loud. It's like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna scream it, get your attention, whatever the fuck I need to do. But real quick, feel good moment about Vegas, where you know this is kind of like an outside view, like a third person. The very first day of ZWC, when you guys were like meeting all the kids and all that, such a feel good fucking moment. Like you have all these other big
Gotta say.
YouTubers there, and it's usually like the older teens that were like hovering around them. But then you and Justin, dude, it was like kid after kid, like you said,
Like
like
an
8 to
8-year-old.
14. Yeah,
Like an
it was
8-year-old
8-year-old.
approached me and was like, "Yo, can we get a picture and everything?" I'm like, "I am a terrible influence for you. Why are you
yeah,
watching
there were
my
some
content?
kids coming up to me, and I was like,
you
I've
should
been
not
drinking.
be watching my videos to begin with right
Yeah,
now."
it's like,
Like-
oh man. But it was like such a feel good moment watching you guys, because it's like I cannot think of anyone else who deserves this more than you guys, and it was fucking awesome to actually see like these kids like look up to these guys, and these guys are, you know, you're being genuine to like these kids too. It was so fucking awesome.
Sure
One of
hope
my
so.
favorite parts of the trip. So
Yeah, I was
Just-
trying
I-
to be
I need to
as
say that.
myself possible without trying to be a fucking anxious mess.
Tim, besides ZWC, has anybody ever recognized you in public?
One fucking
Once?
time, dude, at an Outback Steakhouse, which was like
So-
20 minutes from my house.
It's the
so I
most
was
random
there.
places.
Yeah. It was like there was this fucking guy. He was just the kid that showed me where my table was. So he showed me where my table was.
Oh, that's the worst.
And he
Worst
kind of
there.
just kept glaring at me. It was sort of like this not very subtle sort of like stare at me, and I picked on it. I picked up on it very fucking easily. And I looked at him like, I just kind of looked at him like, what's the deal here? And he's like, "Are you Tim Hansen?" I'm like,
Shit.
this is my instant reaction. I'm just like, yeah, that's me. And he goes, he's just pitch red in the face. He's just blushing his fucking face
aw.
off, dude. And he's just like looking at. He must have been like 16 years old, like 15 years old. Like this is probably a starter job at Outback Steakhouse.
Shout out to that guy.
This kid is probably just like, he's just. And I kind of was just weirded out. I'm just like, this was like the first time I had ever been met with that sort of situation. So I was sitting there kind of just like, hey, like,
It was awkward,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, it was very fucking awkward, and I'm not gonna take blame for that. I didn't make it awkward. I was just very receptive to
Nope,
his
it was your fault.
awkwardness.
All your fault.
No, dude, I'm an awkward piece of shit. No, this motherfucker was awkward as shit. He was just glaring at me like a fucking deer in headlights, just like I'm just looking at him like yo, and he just like inevitably after like by the way, this wasn't a long exchange. It was like probably only like 15 seconds. And then he just went off, and that was the last I saw of him. That was the only time I've ever been confronted IRL other than Vegas. You, on the other hand,
I get recognized
you
all the
got
fucking time.
you got
right.
dressed in a fucking Disney World bathroom.
That was the first time somebody ever recognized me. So he had actually seen me earlier in the day, and he was like, "Hey, are you Crazy Rabbit?" And I was like, "Maybe." Who's asking? He's like, "Oh, I love your YouTube videos or whatever." I think this was actually before we started playing together. So then he's like, "Oh, well, nice to meet you. Thanks for watching everything." We separate. And then later in the day, I guess he saw me go into the bathroom, and he's like, "I need to get a picture with him." So he comes into the bathroom while I'm pissing. He's like, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "All right, man, listen, my hand's on my cock right now. I think it's a little illegal to be taking a picture with you underage with my cock out in a bathroom right now. So let's not do that." So we had to go out and we took a picture. But I get recognized. I think I've been recognized like 6 fucking times.
Yeah,
I think it's because I have a very distinctive look.
Yeah. Here's the thing: you do videos a lot more involving like your webcam and your physical appearance. I like a style of content. Well, with COD Zombies, that is. If I were doing a different style of content, it'd be different. But if I'm doing COD Zombies, my personal take on it is like without a webcam. I might be tripping for that, but that's sort of always been my take at it. So I don't get fucking recognized ever. I don't show my face all that often, but you show your face in probably like the majority of your content. So
it's
you
pretty
probably
easy to see like a bald midget with fucking a headband on. It's pretty easily recognizable.
I suppose.
But if you ever do see me or Tim, especially me, I don't give a fuck. Come up and say, "Hey, bald retard," and come take a picture, whatever you want. I don't give a shit.
As long as you don't fucking stare at me like I'm a goddamn murderer, then
come
maybe
grab
we
my
can
ass.
talk and have a conversation.
You're 18.
But I was just like so weirded out by that one exchange.
So
by the way,
Tim,
I've been drinking a lot of liquids. We'll just put it at that. So I've got to urinate real quick. If there's a pod, if there's like a little, this is where you could punch a little advertisement in. If
we don't have an ad, but we can
I was gonna say,
pimp out gamer
shit
subs.
is never advertisement worthy. But I'm gonna take a little piss break, so maybe slide an ad in here or like a one of those
gamer subs.
What's that app called? That shitty not fucking, what's that app called? That
I can't say it. I know what you're talking about, but I can't say it because of stuff.
Yeah. We got you. Just go pee.
Okay.
Go. So, Justin, here, to keep it going, didn't you say you got recognized like immediately after moving to Florida recently?
Yeah. I was in the gas station and I was getting a fucking drink. And this guy, he's a fucking ninja, dude. Shout out to that guy. He's a fucking ninja because I didn't sense his presence or his chakra at all. And he just comes up behind me. He's like, yeah. He's like, "Hey, you Crazy Rabbit?" And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah. What up, man?" I get recognized there was a guy that recognized me in my apartment complex. Been recognized at fucking restaurants, at stores. It's like, so, I'm not that famous. How the fuck do you guys all know me?
I still think the most ironic part about that is I got recognized before you did because of you.
That was funny.
That was so fucking weird. I was like a sophomore in high school, and a guy a grade below me came up, and he goes, "Hey, are you like the same Carson that plays with that Crazy Rabbit guy? You were only like 2,000 subs too. Like you were not a big channel." I was like, yeah. And he goes, "Yeah, like no, I love watching the zombie stuff. Like I see, you're on stream with him every once in a while. Like, y'all playing Black Ops 2." I was like, "Whoa, slow down. Like I was like, this is not supposed to." I text you and you were like, "Shut the fuck up, no way." And I was like, "I'm dead fucking serious right now."
What's going on?
I actually got recognized before Rabb1t did.
Oh shit!
Because of Rabb1t. I was like sophomore year of high school, and a guy who was a grade below me asked me in like the hallway. He goes, "Hey, are you like the same Carson that plays with that Crazy Rabbit guy that does zombies?" I was like, "Oh, what?" Yeah, Rabb1t only had like 2,000 subs at this time too, so it was like the chances of this happening are like immensely small. It's like so fucking weird. But he's like, "Oh no, I watch his streams and like his videos every once in a while," and like I thought it was you, but I wasn't sure. I was like, "That's so fucking weird." First thing I did as soon as that happened is I text Justin. I was like, "You're not going to fucking believe this."
Oh god,
so weird.
There's a tropical storm right now coming through here, so it's a little
I could hear
stormy.
Excuses. You know what that is? That's Santa Claus. putting
I'm
his
gonna go
dick down
fuck
the
his
chimney.
ass up. Put me on the not. Wait, it's August.
You didn't have to say up in there. It would have got the same point across.
I'm gonna go fuck his ass.
Hell yeah.
What
I'll
is
dog
the
that shit.
non-Christian Santa? Which one is that? Is that Krampus? Is that
Krampus?
fucking
That's the- no,
Polish
that's-
Krampus is like
fucking
anti,
hairy one?
Krampus is like anti-Santa.
Oh,
It's like the German Santa or some shit.
everything in the everything that has to do with Germany or the German language is just fucking angry. You ever notice
Angry
that?
and scary.
It's just like it's just all just terrifying. It's like who the hell would want to be German if they had to? It's like if you had to pick which ethnicity you would be before you were fucking born, nobody would pick German because you'd be
No.
pissed off your whole life.
I think you'd want to pick like Scandinavian or something so you can be
No,
tall.
please.
Oh, you mean like my family?
Yeah.
background?
Not me. I don't want to be me.
Just
I
I
want
already
to
know
be-
I think there's
100%
value to
he's
being you.
African-American.
I think you're a
Just-
great version of you. I think you have a lot of attributes that
Listen, the small
serve you
penis,
well.
the small dick doesn't fucking help Tim.
maybe not in the sex
Maybe it'll be
department of your
black.
life, but you know, in different departments, there are different qualities that maybe speak volumes.
All right, let's
Justin, you
pick
just
our
wanna win that
favorite
order
race.
speed run.
Do what?
I said,
We
you
could
just
do
wanna-
like,
you just want to run that speed run.
You know.
I'm kind of going no filter for this podcast since it's on your channel and not mine.
Act
I
like
was gonna
care.
say
You act
we
like I
could
care.
fucking. I was gonna say we could go like a 1 through 5. We could like rank ethnicities of women we would screw like in an order. Like it could. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
say
stop
that
talking.
very loud so your fiance can hear, Tim. Let's get a little louder, please.
She's asleep. Doesn't matter.
All
think.
right, you started off. Who's number one?
I'm not gonna
This is
say.
Tim.
I'm not gonna
This is
say.
Tim's
You
thing.
go
No,
first.
we're skipping this segment. We're skipping this segment.
All right, now
Sorry.
we're gonna pick out the top
All right.
5 least minorities we fucking hate. Let's go. Number 1.
All right, Justin. Now you have a little clickbait for the title. It was like our favorite minorities, and then we're
Oh,
never
good
going to
Lord.
discuss it. We're just gonna
Yeah,
we're just gonna
That should be the
continue on.
title. You know what YouTube's gonna do when they see that title? Demonetize.
They do that
Demonetization
anyways.
instantly.
You've had a little.
They probably
Drinky
sit on your
drinky.
channel. They probably sit
I
on
think
your
they do.
channel, and they fucking click demonetization for every single video you upload, and I
Did
think
you
it's
see-
unfair.
What I tweeted out about just the demonetization thing where I scrolled through.
Yeah,
Yeah, just one video got monetized.
it's kind of surprising, honestly.
I'm not surprised in this.
I've been doing good. Like I wait for like 3 minutes in to before I really get into any of the naughty, and I don't.
So I actually figured out why that happens, Justin. Like I 100% know why now. So you know how YouTube has like the automatic captions?
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
It is that. I know this because the guy I work for, Nestor, he's a kid channel, right? Like he makes videos for young audiences. And at one point in the video, he says the word gun. And that one video where he said the word gun, he lost so much. His CPM like just went through the floor, dude.
Yeah, it's such bullshit.
Like they still push the views, but as for everything else, nothing.
Bullshit.
So
Tim, speaking of YouTube,
Oh,
got a
good
question.
God! I got
When
tired
our
of my
first-
job now.
yeah, we're gonna get into it. When that one video we first played together, that shitty one barrier map or whatever.
Yeah.
When that first hit 1 million views, what was your? Because that thing fucking skyrocketed.
So that was the summer of, I believe, 2019, which
That
was
long ago.
which was coming off of a very underwhelming Black Ops 4 year. Black Ops 4 was very underwhelming. So Custom Zombie, like my channel growth did not come from Black Ops 4. It came from Custom Zombie. So I was doing a lot of that. And the very first video we had recorded together was on that like a nameless one barrier map somewhere.
I
in the
remember what it
workshop.
looks like.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like a Minecraft, like you know, like quartz looks like in Minecraft. Like it was just like a
What it
quartz
was.
fucking Minecraft little fucking. It was so stupid, and there were just a billion perk machines lined up. It was just like one of those maps that we notoriously
low
play
effort.
constantly. So we ended up playing that map, and like I don't even know how it came about. Me reaching out to you, like, do you remember how that went about? Because I do not. Like,
All I remember I reached out to you if I could react to one of your videos.
yeah. Okay.
And then I think it was something to do with that, like how I reached out to you for that, and then you're like, "Hey, we should play sometime together." And then eventually you came back and reached out to me,
Maybe.
something like that.
Maybe.
I don't remember too much.
Yeah. And then we hopped in a game of Custom Zombies. We were recorded just like a very trivial video in my opinion. It was like maybe less than an hour. Uploaded that. It did very well. I'm like, okay, maybe there's something to this. So I stuck with that. And that was a summer where Custom Zombies just happened to be doing super well. That was like BO3 Custom Zombies breakthrough.
That was the year.
Like it for some reason it was like it existed a long time before that, but people did not start playing BO3 Custom Zombies a lot until that summer. And so that summer I took full advantage of that shit and I was playing a ton of Custom Zombies. And I think what does well on YouTube is content that's very like almost relatable is a good term. It's like, you know how, like, for example, these shorts, like YouTube is doing a new thing where they have shorts where it's like I think it's a minute or less where you can make a quick little video. And it's just a very brief sort of video that you can upload. It's like, well, people like content that's very relatable, very simple, very quick. And so I was thinking with Custom Zombies, I can make a bunch of content where I just have like one or two dudes playing with me, in which case it was you, Turbo, and Lex. We had that group chat where we were all like, let's fucking link together and let's play some zombies. So I was thinking we have that concept of like a couple different dudes and we just play different Custom Zombies maps, title it weird, obscure shit that just doesn't make sense. Like we played a map where we were 50 fucking cent, all four of us, and we were playing at the Cluck and Bell.
I love that.
That shit is just like, that's just an example of the shit we were doing.
Well,
and so that to me feels like that video, even though it got demonetized, I think has still like 500,000 views. Like,
Yeah, it did
shit
insane.
like that does well on YouTube. It did at the time, at least. Like, that shit works to some extent.
I think the funniest thing that came from all of that, because I still had no idea who the fuck you were back when all this was happening. Like, I was really gone from pretty much everything. I would text Justin like maybe once a month just so we knew the other person was alive. And all of a sudden, like, I see you blowing up. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And he like gave me a quick TLDR, and I clicked on a video, and it was one of those fucking ones where you were Kermit, and I was like,
Oh, good lord.
I understand why he's blowing up. I was like,
great.
I understand it, because this is like, this feels like OG like gaming YouTube videos. It's like
almost like
they're playing with random
is
characters.
Vanoss a correct like sort of comparison? It's almost like a
That's what I
type of
did,
content
yeah.
that's very like,
So-
it's not that hard to make. Like, people can make that type of content, but it's just like there's like this weird sort of intangible element to this type of content where it's just like I guess somehow made it work. I can't explain to you how that type of shit works. Like, some
You
people
just-
just find like a niche in like the YouTube algorithm, or they're just like, they find their way, and it's like inexplicable. Like, how do you I don't know how to explain it. It's just a really weird process. Maybe I was
It
picked at
still
random.
amazes me. Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I feel like
Nah,
that is how it is sometimes.
I really do. I think because my second channel, I uploaded one video. It was just a shitty stream clip that I got just showing off my guns, and it got like almost 500,000 views. It's like, what the fuck? Why?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of parts of it. You have the AVD, you have the click-through rate, you have the, like, not just the AVD, but the first 30-second AVD where it's considered the intro, and then you have all these like little things like the transcripting, you have the meta tagging, you have the everything. Like, we found out, because like I said, I worked with the YouTube guy. We found out that the words you say in the video that get transcribed are also saved as metadata and are used in the algorithm as well. To where if you say Mr. Beast 20 times in your video, when people look at Mr. Beast,
Mr. Beast,
there's a
Mr. Beast,
chance
Mr.
that
Beast,
your video could show
Mr.
up.
Beast, Mr. Beast.
So,
Giveaway,
and it's like
giveaway.
that, though. Which is why if I looked up Crazy Rabbit and a guy has a video where he talks about you, but you're not in the title, you're not in the tags or description or anything, that could still show up if I looked for Crazy Rabbit on YouTube. Like, that's how crazy YouTube's algorithm is. And there's so many little things that play into it, and sometimes you just accidentally hit that bullseye and it just shoots you through the roof and you didn't
Very
even realize it.
complex. Very intricate system that doesn't really make any rhyme or reason
No.
to anybody.
None
Makes
of
no
it's
fucking
well
sense.
documented. You literally just got to keep guessing.
Yeah, and
Makes no
guys like
fucking sense.
Mr. Beast, for example, guys like that do sort of pick up on trends and sort of like different quirks in the algorithm, and guys like that figure it out as best as they can, and they really take that to their advantage. Guys like us who fucking swear in our videos and have dark humor, we're kind of just screwed. We're kind of like at the bottom of the barrel, no matter how hard we try.
Going for
Like,
scraps.
I get monetized, but like not nearly as well as I could be if I were doing something like that was completely harmless. Like, if I were just like a non-swearing Minecraft good boy Christian YouTuber, like, I'd probably be making like at least triple what I'm fucking making right now as somebody who swears constantly. I have really dark humor. I have a filter, but to a very low extent. I feel like I don't really hold back as much as I probably should. And you, on the other fucking hand, are even worse of a story. Even way worse.
I am a saint.
I can't even imagine what it's like. I can't even imagine how discouraging that must be. You know what you got to do? You got to stop swearing in the first minute of your video.
I don't. I'm a good boy now for the first.
Go full video without swearing and see what it does.
You're asking a lot here, bud. You're asking a lot.
Dude,
censor it. You can censor it too.
You can say controversial shit, but try not like. You can say words like hell and damn, I think, pretty easily on YouTube's algorithm. But if you say words like fuck and shit, like really sort of like sharp profanities, they pick up on that more than anything else. And if it's in the first 60 seconds to 90 seconds of your video, they crack down on that especially.
Well, that's something I've been doing. Like, I won't try to say, I really won't say anything bad for like the first 3 minutes of the video. And then even when I try to edit out sometimes like the F word and shit, they would still hit me. And so I'm just like, I just gave up. I was like, there's no reason. Majority of my money comes from donations. I'm just going to keep doing what's working because this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
right.
No, streaming is the way to go for you, 100%. So
donations are great.
I had an idea for a stream we could do, Tim. Once you're 21,
sleep stream.
We kind of set up like we each do our webcams. We have like a little ghetto beer pong set up. It's like I'll toss it, and if I hit it, you take your beer away and you have to drink it or what? Like I don't know, like a beer drinking stream.
Virtual beer pong.
Yeah, virtual beer pong.
I like that. That's actually really.
But I'm stealing Pay Money Wubby's idea. We have challenges in them too. It's like if I hit one, I'm like, all right, you gotta do this and you gotta drink. I don't know. I'm stupid. We can get drunk and have fun.
No, it's a good idea. I was thinking I wanted to do a sleep stream. That sounds so fun. Like watching you and Lex do that shit. I was like so envious. I'm like, I wish I could do that so badly.
I bought this.
I have kids that are up at all fucking hours of the night. So I'm like, I don't know if I could even reasonably do that. Like Lisa would have to be on like double overtime for that shit. Like I'd have to. I don't even know where I'd do it.
Is that in time you need to go visit Justin in Florida and y'all do a sleep stream like IRL?
That'd be good.
Because the amount of chaos that would happen.
Yeah, come together.
Pop some popcorn.
So like it could be like really stupid to where it's like anytime someone donates a certain amount, even it can like spin a wheel and it'll do like a random challenge, even like all sorts of like really fun stupid stuff.
That's what I have for the next sleep stream.
We should play Deadly Twizzer. You ever watch that video on YouTube of iDubbbz, Max Mofo, and all those fucking guys that did Deadly Twizzer? Dude, like you pull out a twister board, okay, and there's like a trap or some sort of like dangerous, hazardous fucking thing on each little section of the board. So, for example, there were like mouse traps on one section,
Jesus,
and then another one would have like a bowl of like hot spaghetti or something. And then every time they would flip the fucking wheel, they'd have to do some terrible, painful shit.
Fucking hell.
So, I love that content. I would not wish my worst enemy to ever have to recreate.
I can still hear you.
Like, so recently the Misfits just released a video where they had Max Mofo and Anything for Views over. And they were like doing a bunch of internet challenges like back to back to back. Like chugging an entire gallon of milk or eating like, super hot peppers and then just all this stupid stuff. And dude, I could not wish that on like some of my worst enemies, especially the milk one where they're chugging like a gallon of whole milk. And like it was so disgusting. I have massive respect to those guys. They deserve everything they have. But Jesus Christ, that is like such a shitty way to get. They're like the jackass from YouTube.
Yeah, that is just like people will do a lot to get into the whole. Like people will do. It's crazy what some people fucking do to get clout on the fucking internet, which doesn't even matter. Like even having 1 million subscribers on YouTube doesn't mean shit. Like I don't actually ever get recognized. Like people don't ever, like I'm not a celebrity by any means. If anything, I'm like a D-list celebrity maybe. Like YouTubers really don't get that same respect that like a lot of celebrities do. So it's just crazy to see the fucking extent people will go to achieve that.
I'm willing to say that you're not able to say that you're well known on the platform until you hit 5 million now, because there's so many 1 million channels that are super saturated.
Yeah.
Once you hit 5 million, that's where you could be like, okay, maybe this person's heard of me. And like even then that sounds like a little cocky, but it's like I think that that's about as far as you can really go.
Yeah, if you were to have what was it? I'd say 2014, 1 million subs was like huge.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
Nowadays, it's like, yeah, everyone's got a fucking million now.
Reed, Drew, sure, the guy that owns Night Media, he tweeted out something like a couple weeks back, and it was like there's something like a couple thousand channels all have over 1 million subs now.
That's
But then
insane.
once you get up to like 5 million, that number drops to like a tenth, and then once you get to 10 million, it's like a tenth of that. Like the drop off is like super steep once you hit that million, because a lot of people will hit 1 million and then stop.
Tim, did you ever
Really?
get your 100,000 plaque?
I did. Yeah,
Did they
that's on my wall right over there. I did not hear anything about 1 million black yet. I haven't really inquired about it though, so I'm not like freaking out about it yet.
Yeah,
But
I think you have to like apply for it or something.
yeah,
You know what you
I
should-
think so.
You know what you should do? You need to order one and send it to Justin, because I want to see Justin with a 1 million sub Tim Hansen plaque on his back.
It says
still.
Tim.
You're
Put it
my
right next
bitch.
to
You have
that.
my fucking name on your wall.
I keep it. That'd be funny.
Like, because I know you could do that, because like I know people who this guy, whenever he got 1 million subs, he sent 1 million sub plaque to his editor, to his thumbnail artist, so like all
Oh,
these
then I
people
want
that helped
one.
him build up his channel. Like you actually can buy, I think it's like $60 or something.
I'll buy one.
But
Put it right above my little thing, Tim Hansen. Draw a little heart
like,
on it.
you legitimately can't do that.
That'd be
like, That is a
dope.
thing. So
Dude, you know what's fucking annoying to me? Like, I wanted to talk about so many things on this podcast, but since I've had a couple drinks and I feel like I just feel like I can't remember everything I want to talk about, dude. Like, I was thinking, like, I didn't want to talk about Vegas the entire time, by the way, too, because I wanted to talk about Vegas, but I didn't want it to absorb the entire podcast. But here's one thing I wanted to mention. The way we all left Vegas was the saddest fucking way it could have happened. It was
Yeah.
so sad. Like we had like probably one of the, like I can't speak for everybody, but that was one of the most wholesome experiences of my life. And so to see everybody just leave one by one after the other, dude, like a domino effect, it just fucking so here's how it went down. Like you and Ark and Manlet left night one basically. Or not night one, but like you were the first to leave of all of us.
Sunday night. Yeah.
So you all left together, and then after that, it was just Carson, Suspenders, me, Turbo, and fucking. I guess that was probably it. So we that night was sad. You weren't at the dog bed at the end of my bed. That made me feel real sad, real emotional. Turbo and I had
Miss
to
my
take
buddies.
showers in the morning without your presence. That was real emotional.
Miss my buddies.
And then Carson and then Suspenders, I think, left the next day. Yeah, and then so Turbo and I, we were by ourselves till the very last second of that trip, and it was just really, it was like fucked up. It was just sad. You shouldn't have left, assholes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Next time I'll just walk home. I'll just miss my flight and walk home instead.
It was really
Little
disheartening. It's like seeing
vacation.
everybody collapse one by one. Turbo and I were the last ones. My flight didn't even fucking exist to begin with, so I was expecting a really smooth and stress-free home.
Nope.
Just not even close to that. It was just horrifying.
Well, when we become millionaires from this crypto, we'll go redo the trip and
Hell
we'll spend
yeah.
a month there.
I owe Lex my firstborn
Month.
child. I owe Lex my firstborn child for my crypto wealth.
Yeah. If Lex makes me rich, I'm getting his logo tattooed on my ass.
I will do that, Mr. T Lexify, like the classic fucking logo, like
Hell yeah.
the OG one.
I'll get that one right on my ass.
Why
I can
not?
slap it. It makes me a millionaire. You're-
So
Yeah.
speaking of tattoos, I almost got your logo yesterday, Justin. Almost.
Yeah,
My
what
artist
happened?
wasn't there, so so
Oh.
at this parlor, there's 3 artists, and one of them is really good with like shading, one of them is really good with line work, and the other one I'm just not a fan of. And she was the only one available because my artist had to call in sick that day, and I was like, I'm canceling, not doing it.
I don't blame
But nah, I'm gonna get the KR, probably same place like where you have the rabbit.
you. Hell yeah.
So
Tim, are you ever going to get a tattoo?
Lisa has been hounding me about that. She
Oh,
wants me to
she's
get a
on my
tattoo
side
so
too.
bad.
You got to get your logo.
She's really big into that shit. She loves tattoos. I want to. My biggest fear is getting a tattoo that's not meaningful. And I'm not going to be one of those guys that gets like their son's name tattooed on their back.
No,
That's
get
some
your
pussy
channel
shit, okay?
logo.
No. It's not going to be like all sentimental, but I want to get something that means something, like that's like something that I feel intrinsically within me. It's something like, I don't know, maybe like a word or something, but like a symbol that
Fag.
really matters to me. But I would never want to get a tattoo that's just like superficial and like that's just like a sort of a
so
like a spontaneous decision, you know what I mean?
you
Okay,
get
that's
tattoos the
understandable.
same way I do, where there's like a really deep personal meaning. I feel like Justin gets tattoos where it's like I really like this thing,
Yeah,
and so I got it. Like there's not
my
a really
favorite anime.
sentimental meaning. Yeah, it's just like yeah,
I
look at
guess
this
there's nothing wrong with
anime.
that.
Yeah.
But like, look, hold on. Look, see, because I got this one right here because my grandpa, because the dude's like just a total Western head and worked at Area 51, so alien cowboy, fuck it, it's goofy.
I do
I
like
got
that.
the
One.
puzzle
Nevada?
piece. Yeah,
LOL.
like he worked at Area 51.
He rated it
I got
before the meme.
Yeah. Got the puzzle piece for my son who does have autism. And then I also have a Hot Wheel because I asked my son, I was like, what should I get? What should dad go get on his arm? And he just said car. And I was like, bet. And then I was like, all right, well, I
Which
wanted to
one?
get something like for, I was like, well, I want to get something for my mom too. So I ended up getting like what was her dream car. And I bought the little fucking Hot Wheel of it. It's up there on my shelf too. So I got like
awesome.
a Hot Wheel Mustang tattoo. I got my puzzle piece and I got my alien cowboy. And I was about to get Justin's logo too, because I mean, guy's been my best friend for like a decade now. So
Yeah, I've seen his penis
he has
multiple times.
That's
Multiple
quirky.
times.
I wish
get
I
drunk.
had. So I was gonna say, dude,
I'll send you the video.
one tattoo idea
you
that
still have
Lisa.
No.
I had pitched this to Lisa, and I was like, "What if we like as an ironic tattoo, as like a fun tattoo? We were like, let's get the word tattoo printed in a different language as a tattoo on our back." And I was like, let's do it in Japanese. So like in Japanese symbols, it's
That'd
like
be
three
pretty
different
funny.
symbols. It would just say tattoo, but like in Japanese. So people will look at it and be like, "Oh, that like they'll see the symbols and be
means
like, oh,
respect.
that probably means like salvation or some fucking
Means tattoo.
some dumb shit." Nope.
You
it
go
just
to
says
Japan,
tattoo.
everyone's making fun of you.
I was
The
thinking about
one that got
maybe doing something like that.
tattooed on him.
So this is gonna sound cringe as shit, but like honestly, a year ago or maybe even a little bit less than that, I was genuinely considering maybe getting like a perk icon tattoo
Oh,
on
God,
me,
I'm so
or
glad
like
you didn't.
or like multiple.
no.
But
I'm so glad
I
you
thought
didn't.
about it for a while because like a tattoo is something that I take seriously. Like I thought about it for a while, and I'm like, because my reasoning behind it in the first place was like zombies was definitely a big, huge piece of my life. Like if I never picked up that controller and played fucking Call of Duty fucking zombies, the most trivial, simple game mode of all time, I would not have met the people I have met. I wouldn't have like the life situation I have. So I thought like maybe zombies is like something that is super significant to me that I could like sort of justify as getting a tattoo for. But ultimately I was like, I don't know how it would look.
Yeah, I'm
I'm kind of glad
you
I didn't go through it.
Glad
Yeah,
you
like,
didn't.
like if I had like a big fucking Juggernog logo on my back or something, that'd be
Oh my
cringe,
God.
right?
I'd make
Yeah,
fun of
yeah.
you for
Just
that.
Get Monty's scarf tattooed around your neck.
Yeah, just like in cursive, I am that duck right on my fucking right
God.
here. Yeah, that'd be
All right.
fun.
I want to bring up the next kind of topic here. Justin, you might feel a little excluded here, but Tim, I mean, you've been a dad for a little over a year now.
I have dogs.
Oh,
Not the same where this is going.
They're way more hyper than your stupid kids.
Has there ever been a thing to where, like, immediately after you happened, the first thing that went through your head is, "Holy shit, I'm an awful dad." Like it could be
Yes.
like a funny,
Yeah.
embarrassing story.
I'm not ashamed to admit that kind of stuff because like parents know that every parent understands that like it's fucking exhausting. Like it just is. Especially if you're a single parent, especially if you're a parent at any sort of disadvantage. Even the fact that Lisa and I have each other, and sometimes we each feel like holy shit, like we're losing our goddamn minds. It's exhausting. So sometimes you make poor lapses in judgment. Sometimes you fucking make an error. Everyone's human, and as a parent, that's inevitable. So like I've made small little errors. I wouldn't say there's like a standout moment where I was like, fuck. But, there have been moments where like sometimes I just like, my son Thorin, for example, he's 13 months old now, and he's at the point where he's walking around. He's, toddler, like he's getting to toddlerhood, and toddlers are very curious and they want to explore everything and anything. It is relentless. It does not stop. Restless is a fucking understatement, dude. It's just like constant every waking moment. And so there's just constant like grabbing things and inevitably things break and inevitably things get fucking destroyed. And sometimes it's easy to lose your temper and you're like, shit, Thorn the other day, he grabbed a little plant on the windowsill, this like little pot, fucking tore it right to the ground like the little Godzilla he is, destroying his little city beneath him. Grabs this fucking plant, throws it on the ground, destroys it. This pot is in pieces. There's soil everywhere. This plant is destroyed. I'm like, my instant reaction was just to grab him and bring him right to his nursery and just put him right in his crib. I'm like, I was just sitting there. I'm like, fuck. I'm trying not to
This
like.
little shit.
Yeah. It's hard to like. You really have to kind of like remove yourself from the situation and be like, shit. Like I'm like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm pissed off right now, but I'm not gonna. I gotta like sort of compartmentalize that and not fucking freak out and like do some dumb shit.
I get the backhand, just
So
fucking go.
there are a ton of
difficult
moments like that, and especially through toddlerhood, because toddlers are the most physically aggressive they will ever be. Like human beings are the most, fun fact, they're the most aggressive they will ever be between the age of like 1 and 3. When they're like the terrible twos. You ever heard of terrible twos? Like these kids, these fucking little toddlers, they run around and they fucking destroy everything. They're like little Godzilla over their little goddamn city. They're destroying everything, tearing everything down because they're just curious. Like they just want, like that's all they know is just like, holy shit, there's this new thing. Let me grab everything. And it's just exhausting because my kid in particular, he's a lot like me. He's somebody who likes to be fucking moving around a lot. I gotta be chasing him around all day, and that's on top of like YouTube, and that's on top of like everything else. And we have a newborn now, and it's like there's a lot, but you know there are definitely, like to your point, there are definitely moments as a parent where you're like, you definitely can get overwhelmed, and you're like, holy shit, like sometimes it's just like a goddamn. But you know, being a parent is easily the most rewarding experience in my life. It's just like watching these little kids grow up and become their own people. They're like part Lisa, part me. I always thought that shit was interesting. Like he's part me, but he's part not me, and he's gonna be his own person. And so like, it's just fun to like identify like how he's like me, how he's not, and it's just like watching him grow up and be his own person. It's just like this inexplicable sort of like. It's the only thing that keeps a parent going. Obviously, it's just like this. It's awesome. I mean, maybe you have different experiences, Carson, but that's kind of my experience.
You want more?
The initial goal was 4. We wanted 4. So we wanted to do a pair and then wait at like 3 or 4 years, a gap, and then have like another pair. But now that I have the 2 boys, I'm like, hey, I got my boys. I wanted boys.
But she
I don't
wants her
know if
girl.
I like maybe I'm good. Like we'll see how that goes. Like the plan was to have more, but I'm also totally okay with not having more. So I mean,
You ain't gonna win that battle. She's gonna want her little baby girl.
we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my most embarrassing like parenting story, and this is like, it was a traumatizing thing for me at the time too, and it took me like a year to learn how to laugh at it. So at the time when my son was born, who was also born a month premature, so we were not ready. We were living in an upstairs apartment, and so his mom was having to walk up and down the stairs anytime we did anything. I was working full time.
Fuck that bitch, by the way. Fuck that bitch.
I was working full time at a bank and was like fucking exhausted. And we had really shitty roommates too. So like that was added on stress. So my brain is like fucking just perma-fried at this point. And we end up going in for a false labor. And we're there, like, you know, I left work. I was like, oh shit, like baby time. Get there and like false labor. They declared that they gave her the shit. They're like, all right, this is gonna, you know, help stop everything. We get home, and like 12 hours later, it's like 3 a.m. She, like, I remember her like kicking me to wake me up. She goes, up, baby, now. I was like, oh fuck. It was like, all right, it's time. And so keep in mind, at this point, there's like little to no sleep in me, right? And
yeah, dude, I can concur. Continue on with your story,
but so we go to the hospital. Baby's born like super fucking just like that, right? Like he's preemie, so to put it simply, the kid literally just popped out. So
slid on out.
Yeah. But
Water
he
slide.
he was born with like he was premature. He was born with premature lungs, and so he had a really difficult time even breathing. So because of that, he was put into NICU for a few days, and so we stayed at NICU this entire time. And Tim, when the babies were born, did you stay the night in the hospital or no?
Yeah, both of her pregnancies were C-sections, not by choice, but because Thorin didn't want to come out in the first time around, and we had to yank him out. And then the second time, once you have one C-section, you basically are scheduled to have the rest of them. Like you have no choice. At least where I live, they kind of just like are like once you have one C-section, like you got to have the rest of them be C-sections because I don't know for
It's
whatever
just how it
reason.
is.
Yeah, so she had a scheduled C-section, so it went pretty like for Thorin's it went very not smoothly because he didn't want to come out and he was just having a bunch of issues, and so when he came out he was all good. But when Olin came out, it was scheduled, so we were anticipating Olin's birth a lot more obviously than Thorin since it was the second one. So he kind of just like came out. It was scheduled. We were anticipating it. We weren't stressed at all because we had already been through the situation. And so that was Olin's was definitely my second son was definitely 1,000 times smoother than the first one. But like, man, like I gotta say, one of the questions, like I'm sure you've gotten this question too, is like, what is your immediate reaction to having a kid? Like, what is your first initial feeling to having genetically part of you as another person, like in front of you?
Carson, do you still remember when I told you the first time you told me you were gonna have a kid? Do you still remember what I told you?
If I remember right, you said you're a fucking idiot or something like that.
I said you're fucked.
Yeah, my friends were
alright,
telling me the same shit.
So to be very blunt, and this is part of why I felt so shit for a long time, like completely mentally. I was so mentally and emotionally drained to like so many other things in life. It didn't even fucking click to me. I did not feel like a dad. Looking at my fucking newborn son, I did not feel a connection, and I felt fucking awful because of that.
I've heard that a lot.
I was not there.
The same thing happened to me. Well, I mean, I was okay. I was doing okay mentally. I'm not trying to imply like I was doing like shitty or anything, but when you're like, the way I see it is people are people. Like a person is a person, despite the age, even though that they were just born seconds ago. Like a person is a person. In my opinion, you don't know a person until you get to know a person. So until until an extended period of time has gone by where you get to know this person, it doesn't matter if they're genetically you or not. Like this is somebody you need to get to know. And so I did not feel an immediate infatuation with my child. I didn't immediately feel like, holy shit, like I can't get enough of this kid. Like my initial reaction was more like kind of standoffish, like kind of almost an out of body experience, sort of trying to like observe it. Like you're kind of like taking in the whole situation, like, because there is an entire, like, you do not, like, I was not fully ready until it actually happened. Like, no matter how ready you fucking think you are not ready until there is a physical child sitting across from you that you are responsible for financially, emotionally, mentally, physically. You are fucking responsible for this child. So that doesn't click until it actually happens, no matter how hard you try. And when that happens, you finally get it. Yeah. It's just like they're a person and they're young and they can't speak, they can't walk around, they can't show any body language to show their affection. And to you as a new dad, all you see is a little, like, I mean, to be frank, like a fetus that is now on the outside that can't really do anything other than fucking cry and whine. And that's why it's so hard for new parents to be able to adjust to that, because the only form of communication this child has is fucking screaming and yelling and crying, and that's obviously like not a positive. Parents don't see that it's like a positive thing, so it's easy to get overwhelmed and stressed out. But I mean, the good parents obviously fucking figure it out, and the bad parents don't. So,
like, it was definitely almost a year before it finally hit me, because I remember my son fucking like threw a handful of spaghetti at me and giggled, and I was like. Oh shit! Like this is my kid. But, from the second he was born, I had that it's weird to say, but like that natural instinct that's like, I'm going to care for this, protect this.
Because you have to.
Yeah. Well,
nature kicks you in the ass. Nature's like,
it's not even just that. It was
you gotta
like,
fucking bulk up here, dude.
Good. Yeah. But I felt so bad. So the very first night we finally get home, son's like 5 days old. Take the son home. His mom was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna lay him down in his bassinet. Will you please keep an eye on him?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Keep in mind, I'm still in like my fucking work clothes. I'm a fucking mess. I sit on the couch. I lay back, and we have this fucking pug at the time, which I fucking hate pugs. By the way, I fucking hate them, especially this one.
existence.
Yeah.
This one just had this like inherent need to shove her ass on top of you at all times, right? Which plays into the story. Like, I don't know why. Like, if you were sitting down, she would like purposely like make sure her butthole was planted firmly on your fucking foot. Or like
My
if you're laying
fucking
on the
mom's
couch, she would
dog
try
does
to
the
do
same
that.
shit. She like fucking
It's so
shoves her
annoying.
ass right up to you. It's like, are you trying to itch
I
your
hate
ass?
that.
Are you like, are you trying to orgasm right now? What's your goal
So-
here?
Here's the part that really fucked me up. I fell asleep on the couch. Did not mean to, but I did. I wake up in a daze. She is like, his mom is standing there wrapped in the towel, like screaming at me, like, freaking out. And I look in front of me. The fucking pug is in the bassinet trying to rub
Oh,
her asshole on my
good
son's
lord.
head. I grabbed that dog and threw it right at the fucking wall. I was like, "Fuck this dog!"
It's so
And
it's so funny how quickly people are willing to turn on their pets if they attack their kids. Like if
I
my
was
fucking if
like,
I had a dog that
no.
attacked my kid, no. Like
I
you're
might
going
chase the
against the
dog.
fucking wall, dude.
Dude, I felt so fucking bad. I was like, I fell asleep and this dog just suffocated my fucking son with her asshole. I felt
That's
so
so funny to
fucking
me.
bad. I dwelled on this until he was like 2. I was like, I'm a shit
Oh.
Good
dad for
story.
that. I'm
It's
shit
a
dad
good
for that.
story.
I mean,
was
that's
like,
not that bad. That's
Oh,
not
yeah.
nearly as bad as like. I mean, some people
Well,
are actual deadbeats. Like that's not
Yeah.
anything.
It's like I look at myself now. I was like, I not to be cocky, but I feel like I am a good dad. Like I do everything
You're
I can
shit
to provide for my
dad.
son.
Well, it's
Thank you.
pretty easy to tell if you're a good dad or not, or a good parent or not, just depending on how your kid's fucking doing. Like,
Yeah.
if your kid
Is he
has a
alive?
roof over his head, if he's like doing well, like it's not rocket science. Like you can tell if someone's a shit
Yeah.
parent or not. Like it's not that hard to tell. Like especially with social interact. Like, and the age depends, but like you can tell if a 1-year-old is being treated properly or not.
Mhm.
It's not rocket science.
And oh man, so another funny like quick little story. This one is where I realized that my son was essentially going to be a carbon copy of me. Like he already looks exactly
We
like
don't
me. He
need
looks
more of
nothing
you in
like
the
his-
world.
He looks
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
we need an army of me. We need an army of me. All right,
Oh.
like that's the
We need an army
that's
of
the goal in life.
Justins running
Yeah,
around.
we do.
Dude, literally,
Their
I just
tank
want all
tops
of us.
and everything.
I want to in 20 years. I want to hear that our kids are doing a podcast together. That's all I'm saying. But
Nice. Come on,
no,
Lauren, get on that shit.
so so this has been in my office for like a really long time, like this room of the house, and right next to my office is the bathroom, and then on the other side of that is my son's room, and it's been like that for years now. And he was like maybe 2, like he's still in fucking Pampers and everything. He's he's just learning how to waddle around, and I was eating a bag of hot fries, like those Cheeto hot fries,
Mhm.
and I had those on my desk, and I go to the bathroom, and as far as
Oh,
I'm aware, my
no.
son's asleep. As far as I'm aware, my son's asleep, right? And go to the bathroom, come back out, my hot fries are gone.
Oh,
no.
no.
Like, I was like, what the fuck? Didn't think anything of it.
He's gonna rub his eyes too.
Went to go check on my son. He's standing next to his crib, eating my bag of hot fries, watching TV. Just like nothing.
What a Chad.
I was like,
Damn.
this is my son. This is my son.
DAMN. Damn.
And then like literally like maybe 2-3 months ago, I found these ghost pepper like cheese balls, right? Because I love spicy food, dude. It's my vice. And he, of course, steals them again. And I'm just like, do it. You're not gonna like it. He sat there and ate the entire bag.
He's a goddamn
I'm just
thief.
like-
What the
I
fuck?
was like, oh my god, this is gonna be awful. I'm gonna have to like rush you to the bathroom. I already know you're gonna like stare at me when you know it's coming, and I'm gonna have to sprint so you don't mess up this house
Oh,
because
Oh.
it's not going to end well.
Carson. Oh my God. You know what? You asked the question, have I ever made a parenting mistake? Yes, I made one very
Oh, let's hear
fucking
it.
bad mistake that
Oh,
I
no.
just thought of. I was
I
in
wanna hear it.
Cape Cod with Lisa's parents and their family for the weekend. I was just enjoying my time out there. And so the waitress brings by this sauce for our fucking food. And it was like this, I think it was like Tabasco sauce or something really hot, something really spicy. And unbeknownst to me, I fucking take this sauce and I offer it to my son, Thorin, who's 13 months old.
Let's go!
He has
no.
he's eating his fucking like his fries and he's eating his food. and I give him a little bit of this sauce, and I put like I dipped my finger in it, and I basically like swabbed his mouth with it, and he lost his fucking mind. And it didn't even take a full second to happen. It like the second that shit touched his gums, like you could see his reaction was just he was
Father,
shrieking.
why have
Just
you done this?
We're in public, mind you. Like we're in actual public, and he's just shrieking at the top of his fucking lungs. And it was completely my fault. So everyone in her, I'm panicking. I'm just looking around at everybody like, and all of her parents are looking at
happened?
me, and they're just kind of like everyone's just looking at each other with the same fucking expression, like what do we do right now?
Rub his
And he
nose
just
in it.
So-
I just took some water, like some cold water with some ice in it, and he had a couple sips, and he was cool. But I was just like, holy shit, I could have just like murdered my child's mouth right now just by like
So
complete negligence. To like I just took a sauce like that was just completely unknown to me. I'm just like, here, let's fucking put it in my child's mouth. And he almost exploded.
That's
no,
As a
fine.
result.
all right. I know that there's gonna be a clear answer to this because there's dads react in one of two ways whenever something really dumb happens like that, and it's either, oh my god, I can't believe I did this, I feel so bad, I need to fix this, or it's just no emotion at all. It's like, fuck, what do I do now?
I felt both of those things at the same time. I literally felt. I felt the remorse first. At first, I was remorseful. I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have done this. But then after time passed and he like got his water and he was cooling down, I'm like, yeah,
He's alive. It's fine.
what? Yeah, he's fucking.
So-
He's breathing. Whatever.
I had one moment where I did not feel bad at all because I thought it was hilarious, but I was just like, shit, this looks awful. I was standing in a fucking line at Taco Bell, and my son is like, maybe 13 months, 14 months. And I'm holding him, his butt's on my arm, hand on his back. And
Yeah.
just like leaning him forward like that, playing with him, right? And I'm going like, and lean back, lean back. And then I stand back up and I take my arm off of his back, and then he decides he's gonna go again.
Oh no.
Now, luckily,
Oh, no.
I had like a Godzilla grip on his legs, right? So that's fine. But he just straight up just fucking backwards, completely upside down, and I'm holding this kid like by his bent knees in the middle of a fucking Taco Bell, and he screams bloody murder. His mom screams. Everyone's just fucking staring at me, and I just like casual as hell, just flipping back up, and I'm just like,
He's good.
she's like.
Kids don't
she's
get
like,
it,
"Give me the
man.
baby." She's like, give me the baby. No, you're not carrying him anymore. You almost dropped him. It's like, I didn't drop him.
Kids.
To be fair, I've only dropped my son once, and that's because he kicked me in the face at the exact same time, and like my body was just like, you're not catching him.
I mean,
That was on his-
shit does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like if kids fucking retaliate, like it's one of those situations where it's like, if a kid like kicks you in the face and or if a kid fucking struggles and that causes you to drop them, it's like, some shit's
usually, like,
unavoidable.
I'm rough with my kids. Well, kids. I'm rough with my son. Like I'll grab him if he's running by, I'll grab him by the ankle and like
Where you
swing
little
him up
shit.
there, crap him
Yeah,
on his
yeah,
wrist,
I'm the
like,
exact same way. I'm not like
I love that.
I'm not like somebody who lets my kids fucking walk all over me. Like that's how you raise
Yeah.
snobby fucking kids. If you let them just do whatever the fuck they want. Like I'm trying at least to let like Thorin just like sometimes he's very destructive and outright and he acknowledges it. And he'll look at me and give me like sort of like a look where I'm like, well, he's very, very well aware of what he's doing right now and he's destroying shit. So at that time, like you do have to kind of discipline, like not like, subject them to poor treatment or anything, but you do have to kind of like lay the law down and be like, that shit ain't how it's going to be. Like, you're not going to grab this shit, throw it across the room. Like you do have to step
I'm
in
pro
and
spanking.
intervene.
I'm pro spanking personally.
Oh yeah.
So
Beat the shit out of
If
your
this
kids.
if the situation is dire enough I mean, yeah, like,
like I'm not gonna beat my kid, but I do feel like there needs to be like some form of a negative emotional attachment to misbehavior.
yeah, exactly. You have to establish sort of a drawback for misbehavior. You don't want them to fucking just
Put him up for a
think
dive.
that it's okay to just treat you like shit and walk all over
Yeah,
you.
it's like if my son pushes his drink over at the lunch table, I'm not grabbing him, whipping his butt, and throwing him to his room. I'm gonna be like, nah, paper towels, clean it up, go lay down, and like he'll lay down for like 30 seconds and get back up. And
Yeah, we have kids of different ages too, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
different, I suppose.
yeah,
I have a
Like-
very, very young child, so it's probably a
that
little
is
different.
true. That I will say I didn't start spanking my kid till he was like 3, so like 2.5, 3, because I figured like there's no use until then. Like personally, I was
Yeah.
like, whatever. He's not. We talked a little bit earlier about why take your kids to fucking Disney World if they can't remember it. But no, I
Yeah.
remember the one time my son did something that made me just go, "What the hell is like? Why did you do that?" So back here on this little desk right here, I used to have a TV here. PS4 was hooked up. I have like the little like ring bucket chair right here, and my son would sit in it and like play SpongeBob on it, right? And just completely out of nowhere screamed and just chunked the controller at the TV.
Oh boy.
And I was like, what in the Modern Warfare 2 just fucking happened? Like, I was like, no. And like, he looked at me, not as like fear or like any remorse that he just did that. He looked at me like, fuck you gonna do about it? Man, I grabbed that kid by the wrist, whipped his butt, sent him to his room. He came back out later, grabbed the remote again, looked at me, looked at the TV, wheeled his arm back, and I said, I will whoop your little ass. And he just like dropped it.
Wait
My
till you
son has
leave,
tried
though.
to slap me on multiple occasions. He'll smack me in the face, and I'll look at him and be like, "The fuck did you just do?" and he'll look at me and just be like, and he'll be just like at a loss for anything. He'll just be like, it just kind of give me this like deer in the headlights look, and I'm just like, "You're going to your fucking room right now, dude. I'm gonna fucking put you right in your crib, and I'm gonna walk away."
We talked earlier about the memories and all that, not getting them to a certain age. I told you I started getting memory attention because my earliest memory is on my 3rd birthday, and it's like since then like I've remembered just like big moments. And I don't know why. I still can't tell you why I did it, but I remember I was like 3 or 4 years old, and my dad was still with us at the time, and I'm like at about hip level on him, right? And I went to give him a hug before work, and I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but something in my brain just clicked and said, "Do this." Giving him a hug, and it's just boom, right in the fucking dick. I have no fucking idea why. I still have no idea why. I do remember that he hit the ground, and my mom was just distraught. She was like, "Just go to your room. Just go to your room." And I just walked straight to my room. I still
You're a
have
piece of
no idea why. I just remember doing that, and I was like, I wonder if all kids that age just immediately just think impulsively with no reason, or if that.
I've
if I was
never
just fucking
physically
retarded.
assaulted my parents.
Well, like you
I
just
could
said, like
be wrong.
he just like
I could be
slapped,
wrong.
he's like slapping you and all that, and I don't think that it was like, oh, like I want to hurt my dad, because I don't even think that's what I was thinking at the time. I don't
Yeah.
think I was like, I want to hurt him. It was just do this motion now. And
It's
my
like
body
the
was
thing like when you're
"Yellow."
driving, like what if I just turned on oncoming traffic, but you're a kid and you can't stop yourself, so you just do
Yeah,
it.
no impulse control. They don't have fucking impulse control. Anything they see or touch, they just want and need, and it's always and it's constant and it never fucking ends. And so you're like you're like a lifeguard instead of in real life where a lifeguard doesn't ever have to protect a fucking drowning person because no one ever drowns. You're this motherfucker that's chasing around a goddamn toddler who's on a rampage, destroying everything and picking shit up and throwing it and then he'll look at you. Thorin looks at me and he's just like, "What are you gonna fucking do about it?" And then sometimes I'm just like, sometimes it's defeated.
You win.
All right, so
Win this battle.
back to a conversation, and this might be our wrap-up one, because Justin, you're involved in this one too. If you never, like, I'm going to use the term loosely here, made it on YouTube, what would you be doing now?
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Me? Probably something with photography.
Prostitution.
Really?
That, yeah, I'd suck some dick for money. Yeah, that's what I went to college for. And the 1 month I was there, I took a class for photography, and my teacher did like her other job was like doing wedding photography, and I probably would have done something like that because they make a lot of fucking money.
They can. I'm hiring personally. I mean, for my wedding, I'm hiring a photographer. So I mean,
That's probably what I would have
shit's
been doing.
legit. Yeah.
But I lucked out, so.
Yeah, you became a YouTube. You became a. You became a
Zombie
famous
YouTuber.
zombies YouTuber.
That's so much
Right,
better on the
like-
resume.
Yeah.
What would you
yeah.
be doing, Tim?
I would
Or what
be
do
in
you
the
think?
United States Marines. So my older brother Charles, who's
Oh, you
your
be eating
age,
crayons.
he was in the Marines, and everyone in my family has been in the military. My mom, my dad were both in the Navy. That's how they met. My brother was in the Marines. I have a big military family background. So my plan was out of high school to join the United States Marines. I don't know, and I mean, I don't think probably infantry like my brother. I don't think I would subject myself to fucking infantry like he did. But I'd probably go for something a little bit higher because I'm a thinker. I'm somebody who likes to. I wouldn't want to be a fucking dumb fucking jarhead
Yeah, that would have
like
been me. I'm too
like my
stupid.
like my brother set himself up to be, and that ended up kind of not being great. But anyways, so I would have been in the U.S. Marines with my buddy Riley, who was one of my classmates. He went into the Marines. I did not because I had a successful YouTube channel. Had I not had a YouTube channel or any of this shit, I wouldn't have. I mean, I wouldn't have any. We wouldn't have be having this conversation. I would have never met Lisa. I wouldn't have dated Lisa because I would have been in Paris Island in boot camp instead of dating her at the time. So I would have been in South Carolina, dying in the fucking boot camp. I would have been. I mean, I wouldn't have had my kids or my family. I wouldn't have YouTube. I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I wouldn't have any of basically anything that happened to my point beyond 17 years old, 16 years old, if it weren't for my YouTube success. My YouTube success dictated a lot of what I ended up doing in my life. It kind of like almost tied me to what I'm doing right now. Not in like a bad way, not in like a forceful
Butterfly
way, but in
effect.
like a
Hmm.
like yeah, exactly. Like I had different plans because I was like you don't really expect to ever like quote blow up on YouTube. That shit is never an expectation. It's a goal. It's often like a dream for people, but it's not like this thing that you fucking walk into and you're like, "Oh, I'm just expecting to be the next PewDiePie. I'm just expecting to be the next
Well, if you're
whoever."
smart, that's what you do. But I know so many people in real life who's like, yeah, I'm just going to become a YouTuber. Like, they legitimately think they're just going to become a YouTuber and make money.
It's usually
Like, what?
because of the money. It's usually like the
Mhm.
money is the draw. Like my buddy, for example, a long time ago, he was like, "I'm gonna start YouTube." I'm like, "What's your motivation for it? What do you want to be doing?" He's like, I like basically it all just kind of like came down to the money for him, and I was like, "You are not going to make it on YouTube if this is just about the money because there's too much to learn, there's too much to deal with,
There's too much upfront
there's too
costs,
much
too.
adversity. Yeah, there's definitely
Oh
way too
yeah.
much adversity to be dealing with on YouTube to be interested in only the money. Like you have to have some passion in some way, shape, or form. Like that doesn't have to do with the monetary value of what you're fucking obtaining from doing. Like you have
Mhm.
to get real satisfaction out of the content you make in one way or another. And I had friends that tried doing what I did, except they obviously did not have the same sort of end goals that I did. So they ended up fucking not making it anywhere inevitably. And so I think with YouTube, it's just like it's not something you can fake. It's YouTube for a reason. Like if you're
Mhm.
not fucking equipped for this, you're just not equipped for it. And I mean,
Yep.
there's a lot to learn. I didn't know how to edit until I learned how to edit. I didn't know how to like do a lot of the shit I know how to do until I learned. But you have to be dedicated to do that in the first place. Like if you're in it for the money, go whore yourself out and make money on the streets being a prostitute. Why fucking bother learning how to edit videos and
Yeah.
promote yourself and doing all this dumb shit?
You hear that, kids? If you want to get rich, don't
Suck
be a
dick.
YouTuber. Suck
Invest in
dick.
XRP right now
Yeah,
before it
invest
takes
in
off.
XRP, get Lex's logo tattooed on your ass, you'll be rich.
And if you're in the United
Let's
States, you
go.
can't right now because of the lawsuit. So hook your
What
boy
is
Mr. T
XRP at?
Lexaphy up right now.
Just go
Gotta check
DM
him
Lex
again.
and say, hey, give me XRP. Just send him a bunch of Ethereum,
Oh,
and then
man.
he'll send you XRP.
Dude, YouTube is just like the most. It's just like the most. I can't explain YouTube.
It's
at
up 3
all in one
cents, Tim.
word. Oh, we're
Y'all
watching
need
that
to
shit
Continue.
chill
closely.
on that.
I
And
can't
I say
explain
this
YouTube
because
in one
we need
adjective.
to have a crypto episode in the future. So
Yeah, maybe have Lex and I on that episode.
Yeah, us
Mostly
three and
Lex.
I would
Get
enjoy that.
Lex on that episode before anyone else, and then maybe me as like a fucking additional guest if Suicidal Rue decides to not show up again. I wanted to talk to that fucking kid, but apparently I'm not good enough for him, and he decided not to show up on the one episode showed up on. So you know what? I forgive
We'll
you,
get you-
but
We'll get you on here.
Yeah, when we do
Nah,
Lex, we'll definitely have you on too.
sounds good.
Nah. ever since you told me he busted out a PowerPoint presentation,
Dude,
I've been
he
dying
did.
to get him
That
on
was
here.
fucking great.
Like that was the selling point for me is when you were
It's
like,
like a
he
Zoom
he
meeting.
busted out a PowerPoint. I was like, I need it to happen now. I need it to happen. Like I
He's
need
like
him.
pulling up slides and videos, and I'm just like, this is great.
Dude, PowerPoints to me are like the goofiest but most efficient thing in the world, and I love it.
It was fucking hilarious. He's gonna make us so fucking rich, though. So rich.
All right,
Maybe.
I'm not
Maybe.
gonna worry about anything.
My child is waking up again. He wakes up like every
that's
2 or
alright.
3 hours. It's fucking
I think we're getting to that point. How long has it
chipping
been
at my
going now,
psyche.
Justin?
Hour and 30.
Hour 30.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we're
damn.
good.
That went by quick as shit.
See, here's the thing with this podcast. I know that tomorrow or whenever the fuck I rewatch this, I'm gonna regret not saying a lot of the things that I wanted to say
yeah.
initially going into this, because that's just how this shit works. Like
Mhm.
you go into these things thinking you want to say a lot of things and you don't end up doing it. There's a billion stories on the Vegas trip I wish I would have shared in this podcast, but I feel like Turbo talked a lot
We'll
about
just
it.
have you on again.
You guys
Yeah.
have talked a lot of a bunch of different times, so I don't want to fucking drown everybody in our Vegas stories, but like there's so much. Like I just appreciate both of you guys so much for this and the fucking time we had in Vegas
So
that I
much
don't
fun.
want to kill everybody with, but like we personally, not on a video, could probably talk about for hours and hours.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
That shit was so
Like,
fucking
we-
fun.
Like we talk about a lot of stories that are like really on edge on camera. Just to put it nicely, there's so much shit that we could still talk about off camera that would be still so much
like
fucking
what
fun.
Ark did and what happened to Manlet that ended up not fully happening, but like was an
Oh, man.
intent set up.
That shit was fun.
It's like a setup.
The Pokemon cards, Lex getting kicked out of the casino floor. I'm not Lex, Turbo.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Now you
like,
guys just
fun
all gotta
little
come to
things that
me.
happen.
Let's just all come down to me. We'll go rent out a beach house.
Listen, you're
My
in a
goal is still
better
just to
sort
do
of
it.
you're in a better geographical like visiting location than
Just
where
come to
I'm
me.
at. I'm up in the Northeast where nothing exciting is really happening. So down there where the weather is
Beach house,
warmer,
let's go.
You can bring the kids. They can come stay with Heather at our place. We can go all
sure.
go to the
I'll
beach
bring
and
a pack
chill.
and play. I'll bring a fucking little portable crib for them. I'll fucking wheel it around like a dad I am now.
We'll
mean,
go
this was
get drunk
fun.
on the
Here's the-
beach.
Here's the important thing that I think we need to recognize about the next time we do get together, and that is that we want to get together without there being any responsibilities if you guys happen to do any event stuff. And on top of that, we're getting
True.
together with the intention of hanging out, not getting blackout drunk.
And my flights don't get canceled all the fucking time.
God, I
Yeah.
hope not.
But like,
God,
so
fucking
realistically, yeah, like if you wanted to bring Lisa and the kids, you easily could, or just whatever, because the point of the trip isn't to go get blackout drunk and not remember it. It's to
That's
just
you.
have some genuine bro time.
It's
mean,
for
hey,
a lot
that
of
might
different
be part of it.
purposes, okay? No, Lisa
That's
would
not
love
the
to fucking.
entire point.
Lisa would probably love to have a day out with Heather and the fucking kids. They could probably go out and go shopping or some shit. And we can go and shoot guns.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, if I had the property, then we can just go out there and shoot. God, I hope so.
We could play golf.
I'm down to go. I don't have my golf clubs. Well, I should by then, but
I'd probably
I'm down
have to
golf.
buy some down there, but I would
Just
if that's
fucking
what it
use
came
mine.
down to.
I'm just gonna get one driver and use that the entire time.
Even when you're putting. Just,
Just very lightly put it. Oh man. All right, well,
Yeah, we gotta do
that's an
something.
episode.
It is late too. It's almost midnight where I'm at least.
The bad thing is it's not coming out this Tuesday. It's next Tuesday
Damn.
Yeah.
because we already have
We're-
that one
we're
recorded.
episode
This
9
one's-
now, 10,
This one's 9, I think.
9.
I think
Alright.
8 comes out
Episode-
Tuesday. We're ahead.
Yeah.
I
no, we
watched the
actually got ahead,
fucking
thank God.
Carson. Did I mention this? I watched the podcast with you guys talked about the Nerf ban or something like that in Australia or something like that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fucking episode. I watched that episode and I watched the Turbo episode, and I want to watch the rest. I gotta get to the rest of them, but those are the only two I've watched so far. I'm gonna rewatch this tomorrow or not tomorrow, but whenever you post this, I'm gonna watch
send
it.
you the,
I'm gonna be like,
unlisted
I'm gonna be
link.
like, fuck, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say
So-
that? Why didn't I?
Tim, this is kind of a thing for you and also anyone else who's watching this maybe for the first time. Podcast is also on Spotify. So,
It
I mean,
is.
even if you're not watching it, you could throw it up on Spotify and listen to it while you're working out.
Soon
doing
to be
dishes, whatever you gotta
iTunes
do, man.
whenever that website starts working.
Oh,
If the website
Hell
ever
yeah,
starts
man.
working.
OnlyFans dash crazy Rabb1t.
Or just check out hentaititties.net.
That works.
Takes
Or
you
go to
straight to OnlyFans.
timhandsomeposters.com/last man standing. That's
No,
not a real
no.
link, but
Check-
you can find it in my video.
crazyrabbit.posters.com. Use my
Yeah,
what
get
the
some
fuck it is.
posters, dude, for
All I'm
LMS
saying is-
season 3.
gothtips.com is still the best website.
No, hentaititties.net. Check it out.
Also, Turbo, shout out to you. I appreciate all of the praise you gave me in the last episode that you were in. I love you, brother. You and Rabbit and Carson and all of us had a great connection in Vegas, and that'll only
Very
play
strong
into the
connection.
future.
Hell yeah. That has been episode
Alright.
number 9. Gamer subs, check them out and
Fuck gamer
Go
subs.
crazy.
fuck you.